This conference will now be recorded.
So, in accordance
Did
with
my message go through? Sorry. Well,
Yes, I got it.
oh, okay. Thank you.
in accordance with a request last time that we needed to work another problem similar to the one, the in-class problem, exercise 10.7 was assigned. It has its assumptions of raw materials, labor, and overhead, and you're asked to do the same three things that you normally do to come up with the unit cost and the selling price. And I guess we also need what? The POR. So that we don't make it so hard, can everybody do these three things? Can you calculate the estimated unit cost, estimated selling price, and POR? Who can calculate that? Can anybody calculate that?
I guess not, sir.
Say what now, McCasker?
For myself, I'm speaking for myself. I can't. Well, I know how to do POR because POR is the I don't have it written down.
But you don't know how to get the cost of the item?
No, I just know POR is total overhead over estimated hours.
Okay, so the POR you says is that we're going to get the total overhead, and that's what, 500,000, right?
Yes, sir. And that's divided by the total number of estimated hours.
Well, how are we going to get the estimated number of hours?
Well, direct production is 10 books per hour, and the estimated quantity is 10,000 hours. So you just divide estimated quantity by direct labor, and it give you 1,000.
So we got to make the overheads 500,000. We got to make 10,000. We can make 10 in an hour. So our multiple is we can make more than 1 in an hour. So therefore, we got 10,000. We can make more than 10 an hour. We're dividing. Then the total hours is how much?
1,000.
And so what's the POR going to be? Line
500.
divided by line 4, or what?
It'll be 500.
Okay. So we got one thing done. Any question on that? These are just the first 4 lines on that template I gave you. But like I said, we should be able to move outside of the template. Total overhead, we brought that down. Quantity to be made, we brought that down. Since we could make 10 books per hour, our multiple was 10, but we divide rather than multiply. We divide 10 into the quantity we have to make. This gives us a total hour. So 1,000 is the total hours. Okay. The total hours divided into the total overhead gives us 500. Is there any question from anybody on how to calculate POR? So we see where he got all these numbers from. Okay, let's see if we can get the estimated unit cost. Ink is 2 times 5, so, and it's going to be materials, labor, and overhead. So 2 times 5 is what?
10.
10.
2 times 5 again is what?
10.
So as we look at our assumptions, we got to have direct materials, labor, and overhead. So the direct materials cost is 20. What's the overhead? What's the labor going to be? We pay $50 an hour, but they can make 10 books an hour.
It's going to be 5.
Be fine. Divide.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, we need what? The manufacturing overhead. The total overhead is 500,000, okay? So we need to get that on a unit basis. And so to get that, several ways that we can do it, but what we have been doing is we have been taking the POR. So what's our POR? We said
500.
500. And then we'll take our productivity rate, which is the 10 books per hour. So we can make, so 10 is the productivity rate. This first situation, we're going to do what? Multiply and divide.
What? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, Professor. What did you just say?
Our productivity rate is 10 books per hour.
Yeah, we're going to divide because of per hour.
So we simply take the 500 divided by 10 and we get what?
50.
50.
Well, you said 500 divided by 10. Oh, yeah. 50.
500 divided by 10. Remember, it's the POR. And if it's per hour, we divide. If it was more than 1 hour, we multiply. And now,
So lastly, we will do like the line 6, which is the POR in line 3, right?
I don't know what you're doing now, Buford.
Wait,
All I want to do is the
where are we? Just
5 and 50.
Okay, so
oh,
we got
never
50.
mind. I'm ahead.
Why do we divide that 500 by 10? The POR, why do we divide it by 10?
Because we can make 10 books per hour.
Okay.
If it was 10 hours per book, then we multiply. So remember, I told you always have to look at, are you multiplying and divide? So we add all of these. What's our total unit cost?
$75.
So we're just going to add these numbers together. What we're going to do next? So this number is 75. We're bringing that down. What's the next thing we're going to do?
Well, because we know our multiple is 4, we just multiply by that to get the estimated selling price.
Mm-hmm.
And that'll be
What's the estimated selling price going to be?
$300.
So can we do this now? Mr. Caskell?
Yeah, I was just about to respond. I think so. I'm definitely just gonna have to keep practicing at it.
Recall. Direct materials, labor. Whenever it's a per, you divide. Whenever it's 10 hours, if it was 10 hours per book, you'd multiply. But since it's 10 books per hour, you divide. Got it?
Yes, sir.
So we have these numbers, but since we want to practice, suppose we had 10 hours per book. So how would these numbers change if this was 10 hours per book?
And if it, what would it, so it wouldn't be 50 per hour?
I
It would be
calculated
10
and
hours?
see. A lot of things might change.
Well,
I'm
With
talking to
the
you.
with
you
the
said it would
direct
be
labor rate,
500?
rather say the direct labor rate would be like 500 then, right?
Yeah, it would be 500 because then we would multiply instead of
Make the
divide.
calculations. Make the calculation. Come down here and fill out all of these things.
Also, make the, like, do everything? Okay, 1 second.
Everything.
Let me add another row.
Yeah, add another row.
One question, Professor Boyd, would it still be 50 per hour or would it be 5? Well, we're looking at 5 and 10 hour per books, right? Dr. Boyd? Professor Boyd,
Yes.
I have one question. So we're using 5 for the direct labor rate. It's 5 instead of 50 now, or we're still going to use 50 and just tens, and we're switching the per around.
And just switching these around.
But we're still using 50, or no?
Yeah, we're using 50.
Okay, we're just switching it around. Okay, thank you.
So I want to know how these numbers change. How do all of those numbers change? Or which ones change? You know, a long time. McCaster, you said you could do the POR, right? So what's the POR going to be now?
The POR for this one I got 5, cause it's 500,000 for the estimated overhead, and then because it take 10 hours per book and it's 10,000 books, you do 10 times 10,000, you get 100,000 hours.
So this will be 100,000 hours. So instead of 1,000 hours, we're going to have 100,000 hours. See, when we could make 10 books per hour, we only had 1,000 hours. But now, because we have to make, it takes 10 hours to make a book, 10 times 10,000 will be 100,000. We divide 100,000 to 500. And so the POR now is 5. That's a drastic difference, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's come back up here now. What's the ink going to be? That doesn't change, right?
It's still 10.
What's
Paper
the
still
paper going to
10.
be? What's the
But
direct labor going to be?
direct labor is 500.
How we get 500?
Let me see. Direct labor. Hold on.
That's right, though. Just
Cause it's
10
50. It's
hours,
50 an
right?
hour. It's 50 an hour, and you multiply by 10 instead of dividing by 10.
Got to multiply. So this would be $500. And what's our unit overhead cost going to be?
The overhead cost is gonna be $570.
I don't know about that. Overhead now. I just want the overhead cost.
Were you still talking about the 500,000, the estimated manufacturer overhead?
Okay. So here, we took a POR of 500 and divided by 5. Now in this new situation, we're going to take a POR of 5, but what we're going to do?
Oh, multiplied by 10 is 50. I'm sorry, I got that on my paper too.
Okay, so we're going to multiply by the 10 now, so it's going to be 50. So the unit overhead cost, what stays the same in each situation? 50 and 50. But when we get ready to get our total cost now, 10, 10, 550. So what's our total cost going to be now?
570.
Because that's what you're talking about, 570. You had to add up everything. So what's our selling price going to be now?
$2,280.
Okay.
No,
But
2,200.
whether you multiply and divide them, right?
Yes, sir.
So can you do it now, McCaskill?
I'm definitely gonna practice it, but yeah, I can do it. But we gotta do the rest of the problem with the journal entries, cause I gotta figure out how to do those as well.
Wait. Oh, see, McCaskill, you gotta work one thing at a time. So we learned how to do this. So let's see if we can make a journal entry. These journal entries that you're concerned about. So it says you purchased 25,000 ink cartridges at $5 and 22,000 reams of paper at $5. Can you make those journal entries?
Well, I'll just tell you what I put. I got raw materials ink debited at 125,000, and then cash credited at 125,000.
Well, just see if I can find some journal entries. Let me see if I can pull these journal entries in. Okay, so and we said that when we do these journal entries now, rather than transaction type, we do stage, right? What stage are we in?
This is still stage 1.
All right, so go to stage 1 and see what the journal entries are in stage 1.
It just say record the purchase that you just told us.
I know that, but you got a spreadsheet that tells you what those journal entries are, what you debit and what you
It's
credit.
raw material inventory, and accounts payable.
Okay. So whenever we're buying inventory,
I need to print this out too.
so you basically had it there, but except that this is account payable. So debit raw materials, ink, and credit account payable. And then debit raw materials paper. And credit account payable. So that was the only thing I wanted you to do. I wanted you to realize you're in stage 1, and I've got a template that tells you what the journal entries are. You forgot about that? You forgot about the template that tells you what the journal entries are in each stage?
Oh yeah, that's from a while back.
A while back.
Yeah, my memory is. I feel like we go over like 100 things every class.
100 things every class.
That's why I be feeling lost.
Well, we had midterm, and we did a review. We did statement of cash flow, and now we're on manufacturing accounting. 3 chapters. The midterm. So, okay. So, and what were your amounts? Tell me the amounts.
Oh, 25. Oh, so for that one it'd be 125,000 debited, credited.
What's the next one?
Is 110,000.
So you should make you a copy of that spreadsheet with the journal entries on it. Make your own copy, that's even better, by stage. Because if we go to stage 2 McCaskill, what do we know is going to happen?
Stage 2. Oh, that's the production or work in progress.
So what can you tell me about that stage?
Do these go in the T charts? No.
We aren't ready for that. Well, yeah. Well, I just want to make journal entries now. We'll come back and post them later.
I know you said on Wednesday, I think it was, that you said it's gonna be three things that go in the chart for the work in progress.
Well, I told you always at least 3 entries, right?
Yes, sir.
So when we're in stage 2, we know what? Whatever we make a debit, what is it to? Every time we make a journal entry, what we're going to do? We're going to debit work in process.
Okay, debit work.
So every time we make a journal entry, we're going to debit work in process. Now that should be pretty easy to remember, right?
Yes, sir.
Every time we make a journal entry, we're going to debit work in process. Stage 2. So every time we make a journal entry, we're going to debit work. So whenever we're in this stage, we debit and work in process. Now, there's a journal entry for raw materials, one for labor and one for overhead. But because we have 2 raw materials, we got to have 2 of those entries, okay?
Okay.
So you had 2 raw materials. If you had just 1 raw material, it would be 1 entry. But no matter what, when you're in stage 2, you debit work in process and you credit something. So I'm gonna let y'all make the rest of these. Y'all making me work too hard today.
Oh, is the first one ink for 100,000?
What does it say? We transferred 20,000 ink cartridges. So we're gonna credit the raw materials in. So we buy the ink, then we move it into work in process, the book. So it says 20,000 ink cartridges. How much did these ink cartridges cost?
$5.
So what's 5 times 20?
100,000.
Then it says we transferred 20,000 reams of paper. How much is that going to be?
Same price.
Okay, so we got those entries done. Then it says record the payment of for 1,800 actual labor hours.
So for that one, I multiplied 50 times 1,800, and I got 90,000.
I'm going to take your word for it. So he's saying that the workers, they only had to work 1,800 hours, and they got $50. So he says 90,000.
When you done, can you go back up at the top just a little? I just need to see that top journal entry for stage 2.
So notice in stage 2, there are 4 debits to work in process. Could be 3, could be 20. But every time there's an entry in stage 2, we debit in work in process. So McCaskill, I'm assuming you will remember that now, right?
I couldn't hear what you was just saying. I could see that you was talking though.
Every time we make a journal entry in stage 2, we debit work in process.
Oh yes, sir. Definitely gonna remember that.
All right. You got what you need, Buford?
Well, let me see that 90 again. Go back up. Sorry.
Can for number 6, I think I was gonna ask how to go about doing that one.
What you gonna credit?
I'm actually not sure because on the last one I had on my paper I had labor, but you put cash, so I didn't even know it was supposed to be cash for that last one. So I'm not sure what to debit for this one. I mean
There's
credit.
one time they want. So this is kind of work in process ink, work in process labor, work in process paper, work in process labor. But these
Okay,
work, they want some money.
right.
You work.
I got a job,
Yeah.
yes.
What do you want on payday?
The check.
I did. So these workers, they want checks too. So the labor is kind of, see, we aren't worried about the type of item in here. It's just getting the cost in here. We got that budget, and we already got our budget of what, so we know it's going to be ink, paper, labor, and overhead. We got one final entry to make here. What we're going to credit? What does it say?
Labor.
That's a bad
I mean,
guess.
no, manufacturer overhead.
Yeah. It says record the applied manufacturing overhead.
And then we would do the P, like in parentheses, you got labor hour times POR. And that'll enter our estimate overhead.
So this is where we take the 1,800. We're going to multiply it by the POR that we calculate. So that's why we calculate the POR. We use it in this journal entry. So our POR was what, 500? So it's going to be 1,800 times 500. So this is why we calculate the POR.
It's 900,000.
Okay, so you said 900,000. Way off.
So what? Why was the Why did we multiply that 1,800 again?
Okay, remember that the POR that we calculate is a per hour. And then remember we multiply the hours to get the unit cost here. So when we get ready to say how much of the overhead we're using, how much we're using.
How much of the overhead?
Yeah, we use it. The overhead comes in at the rate of $500 per labor hour.
Right.
Remember, this is per hour. So when we get ready to allocate the overhead, multiply actual labor hours
Okay.
to our.
Okay, I got it.
You said that was how much?
900,000.
Any questions so far? Let's see. Might be a good time to put some T accounts in.
Professor Boyd, when we're doing raw material T accounts, do you want us to divide them by ink and paper or just put it all together under one account?
You have to have a separate account for each one.
Okay. I figured, but I just thought I'll ask.
Okay, so I take all these numbers out. So what I'm gonna do, we have raw materials, ink here. So I'll just come down around here. And we'll put the raw materials paper here. Okay, so let's see if we can do some posting. What was the debit to raw materials Inc.?
$125.
Now I told, how much?
Oh, I'm sorry. 125,000 for number one.
And for paper?
And for paper, it was 110.
Then we got the 3 and 4. How much did we transfer to work in process?
3 was both for 100,000.
So then we transferred in 100,000 each time. So we got 100,000 in ink and 100,000 in paper. So the balance in this account now is what, 25,000?
Yes.
The balance. And the balance in the paper account is what, 10,000?
Yes, sir.
What else did we debit the work in process?
Hold on,
You could
Professor
do
Boyd.
Cash for 90,000.
For labor. And what else did we debit?
The 900,000 from overhead costs.
Any question on those postings? Where we just posted from the journal entries. Any question?
Oh, so far so good.
So this is what 119 or whatever. Come on, 19. Okay. So it says we completed 7,500 books. We transfer in the raw materials for the completed books only, but all of the labor and overhead. So we were supposed to make 10,000 books. We only made 7,500 books, okay? So we see that. So we're saying that, okay, all the labor has got to go. We're going to take that out of the account. All of the overhead has to go. But because the workers, they got their cash and they're gone, and the overhead's been paid. But the paper and ink that wasn't used is still there. So we only need to transfer out 75,000 in ink and 75,000 in paper.
Why are we transferring out 75,000 again? Because
75%.
okay.
Okay, so we just take out 700. There are various ways to do it. We could prorate it, but some is left, so you just leave it there. We could sometime eventually we'll prorate these, but right now we're not. So we add all these numbers up. How much is it?
It's 1,140,000.
Yes.
I think
40? I thought it was 114. Wait, what we
um,
calculating at the end? 900,000?
cause 75 plus 75
75.
is 150
That's
plus
150
90 is
plus
240.
90 plus 900,000.
Yeah, I think it
Oh
would
yeah,
be.
I got that. Yeah. That's right.
So what's the balance in this account?
50,000.
You see where the 50,000 comes from?
Yes, I do.
Where does it come from?
We just did simple subtraction.
Okay. So we're transferring out this is the only kind of part in here. And even in terms of transferring it out, you just do all the labor, all the overhead, and a pro rata part of the raw materials because the paper and ink is still there. So now we need a journal entry.
Now we're in stage 3.
So what we're gonna do in stage 3?
You do finished goods and work in process.
So what do we debit? Finished
Mm,
goods inventory. And what do we credit?
work in progress.
And what's the amount gonna be? What we determine in that T account, the 1,140,000. Any questions?
So finished goods inventory. Um, that's just the number that we get at the end of the work in process T chart.
Correct. We would buy the raw materials, we bring in the labor and the overhead, we make the item, and then we transfer it to finished goods. I can't sell my book unless it's finished. Got it? So
Yes,
these are
sir.
things to go to, but at the end of the day, I want the book finished. What's the unit cost of the book gonna be?
You said the unit cost.
Mm-hmm.
The one that we did earlier, the 75.
That's how many we made. But the actual cost is gonna be what? We made, the cost is 1,140,000. We made 7,500. So what's that unit cost gonna be?
I'm not sure I know which numbers to compute, sir. Or like how, well, I know the numbers, but like divide, multiply, I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be doing.
Suppose you bought 75 things for $300. How much did each one cost you?
They all
Cost,
cost $4.
okay, so do the same thing here. Your cost for 1,140,000. The quantity is 7,500. So what's the unit cost?
152.
I'm gonna take your word for it, 152. How much were these books supposed to cost us?
$75.
Mm-hmm. But they cost us 152, so we sure way off, aren't we? We're way off in our costs. Did I ever take these out? Guess these can come out here. And so these T accounts sort of show where we go next. So what's our next journal entry?
Is it cost of goods sold?
Sale of finished goods. So we sold 8,000 books. So if we sell 8,000 books, what we're gonna sell them for? What did we say the selling price was?
$300.
$300. put anything spaced down here. Okay, so let's see if we can put those journal entries in. Selling these books. So when we sell the books, what's journal entry going to be? We're selling for cash.
Is it that 1.14 million?
How many books did we sell?
7,500.
And what was our selling price?
300.
So how much money did we receive for selling them?
2,250,000.
2 million. By the way. Any questions?
And this is stage 4 now, right?
Yep, stage 4. What else gonna happen in stage 4?
We did cash. Now we have to do cost of goods sold and finished goods.
Mm. Okay, so let's see what they say.
Can you go back down 1 second? I'm sorry. Well, sorry.
Where do you want me to go? Up and down.
I just need to see the last part. Okay. You're fine. Thank you.
You're welcome. So you were told that the 7,500 books were 152. But you also told you had some beginning inventory, right? 5,000 units. And the unit cost on those 5,000 units was $40 each. And it says we use the weighted average inventory evaluation method. So, Miss Buford,
Yes.
with all your expertise on inventories, having filled out
Oh.
detailed problems calculating inventory.
Well, I haven't started yet.
I thought you did it last semester.
Oh yeah, I did do it. See, now that is weighted average.
So we got 5,000 at 40. We got 75 at 152. So we need a weighted average cost now.
Oh yeah. Okay, now I remember weighted average.
Now you remember?
Yeah. I had to think, Professor. My mind is just the memory, the short-term memory is not that good.
That's not good.
I know. That's because I got too many classes.
You only got 5.
Only.
What's weighted average?
So we're gonna calculate it.
Yeah. It's on the inventory chart.
What's 5,000 times 40?
5,000 times
Is it
40.
200,000?
200,000.
Mm-hmm. And we know 75 times 1 equals what?
That 1,000,001.
So when we get ready to do weighted average, we're going to add the quantities. So 5,000 and 7,000 is what?
12,000.
500. Now, we're not worried about the first cost or the last cost because we're using weighted average. So we add 200 and 152, this becomes what?
1.352.
1,352. And weighted average is simply we're going to divide the quantities into the total cost. So we aren't going to use first, we aren't going to use last, we're going to use the weighted average.
So do we have to do an inventory chart? Sorry to cut you off.
We're doing
Or we're
it
just going to do everything right here?
right here. So all we got to
Okay.
do is divide 1352. We don't have a one transaction by 12.5. So what's our
Okay.
That wait, the 7,500 times 152 is 1,140,000.
Thank you. Okay. Let me put. So this is 1,140,000. That's right. That's what we had before. So when we add these, this is going to be what? 1 million.
It'll be 340.
Okay, 340. Okay. So what's our weighted average cost going to be? Y'all have had some statistics, correct?
Yeah, wait. I got 107.2. Is that correct? No. Yeah.
Could be. So you just divide 12.5.
Oh, wait. You said divide 12.5. Wait, that's not correct. I did it the opposite way.
So it's
340.
Wait, no. I think I think it is 107.2 because if you do 12, you get a
divide this, the 1,340 by 12.
yeah. Okay, yeah. I got 107.2. What did you get, Mikowski?
I got the same answer.
So therefore, the cost of these items is going to be 107.2.
Okay. All right, it's coming back, Professor. I remember now.
Oh, is it? So to get our number, we're going to multiply the 7,500 times the 107.2. So we don't use the first number, we don't use the last one, we just calculate an average. So what's
you're gonna get 804,000. Can I ask why we multiplied it by the 7,500 by that?
You sold 7,500. The cost was 107.2. If we didn't have those in there, we would have multiplied. How many did we sell?
7,500.
No, we sold 8,000.
Oh yeah, record sell 8,000 books. That's true. It
It's
is. It is.
So this needs to be 8,000.
Oh dang.
This needs to be 8,000.
Mm.
So what's 8,000 times 300? Is that 2,400,000?
That's exactly what it is.
Okay. Then we're going to multiply 8,000 times 107.2. And how much is that going to be?
It'll be 857,600.
857. So that's stage 4. Now, we just have beginning inventory. We didn't have that beginning inventory. We would have been using the 152. But because we have beginning inventory, we could have used first in, first out, last in, first out, or weighted average. And we used
So we wouldn't have to use 8,000 right there.
no, only the costs in the chart.
Okay.
These are just costs. So we have 201.40. And once we make that journal entry, 857,600. So how much are we gonna have left in finished goods inventory?
Um, 3. It'll be like it's 200 plus 1.4.
How much do we have left?
I'm trying to do it right now on this computer.
What kind of computer you got?
Equals then minus 857,600. It should be 482,400.
482.
482,400.
Okay, so that's the balance. All right, so what I'm gonna do is this. I'm gonna stop here.
Okay.
Okay.
So you all need to go back over this problem, and after you go over it, finish these last 4 journal entries and then do those financial statements.
Okay. For stage 5,
Little
it's
tricky
stage
thing
5.
was we had beginning inventory.
Okay.
So some people had
But in
excuses there.
stage 5, I'm sorry. I'm
We
sorry to cut
still
you
on
off. Keep going,
stage
Professor.
4. We're still on stage 4. You got 9 and 10.
Okay.
Then stage 5. So I did most of the work for you all.
But what do we do in stage 5? Because
Do
I
journal entries
I just
11
print.
and 12.
Well, you don't have that on the spreadsheet.
Yeah, because that's those are principles one journal.
Those are just I know those are just the basic ones, but okay, I see it. I get it. I'm just making sure because I made my stage chart and I was trying to figure out,
But put the
what do
journal
I supposed to put?
each chart. Then when you get to
Uh,
5, a journal entry types from principles 1.
okay, so I just put type 8. Is it always going to be type 8, just like our expenses,
Yeah, they payments.
or
So 8 doesn't sound right.
type 8? Type 8 is the expense. No, that's type. So I got to look at my thing. It may be type 9. Type 8 is liability. It's type 9. And then type 10 is dividends.
Oh, Buford, I tell you.
This is my chart not in front of me. This is just off the top of my
Oh,
head. Which is like, but you're
so
right.
I
It's not
see
type
that
8.
8 journal
Um,
entries. You all got 4. Think y'all gonna have 4 for next time?
yeah, I'm going to start working on it right away.
Good. Anybody else gonna start working on it right away?
I'm gonna work on it. I got a